Shalom, shalom. It's the brother Adab, from the GMS Port City, Mobile, Alabama camp. Coming at you again with another lesson. But before I get started, I want to give all glory, praises, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and salutation to the whole field elect. Let's scatter the broad, preaching this truth and sincerity. To you, I want to say shalom. All right, and this going to be whoever said the forbidden fruit was an apple. All right, we're getting straight into it. In Genesis 3:1, it say, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahweh power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yeah, have God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?" Okay, this serpent is a man, not a literal snake. We call people snakes in today's terms to reference to that person as being sneaky and not trustworthy. And back in the garden, that snake was a person of a wicked spirit that no one could trust. But that same spirit is back today in the nation of Esau, the nation of Edom, which is the Edomites, as the Lord called them, their true biblical name, you know, the so-called white people, and the brother of Abel, which was Cain, had that same spirit in him. This is Psalms 58 verse 3. It say the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And Esau is the border of wickedness pertaining to Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. But Psalms 58 and verse 4, it say their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. And the poison of this man is his doctrine and his philosophies. And by his doctrine and philosophies, he deceived the whole world. All right, his ways are against the Lord's ways. But back in that Genesis chapter 3, this is verse 2, it say, "And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden," which is the other nations' doctrines and philosophies. Because if everybody was going the ways, was supposed to be going the ways, doing the things that the Lord, commanded them to do. So it they can eat, they can gain knowledge from the other trees, except from that tree that's in the midst of the garden. And to prove that the trees of the garden are nations is in Ezekiel chapter 31 verse 7. It say, "Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters." All right, this is the nation of Israel that is being described as greatness. All right, that comely, that comely nation. Verse 8 is saying, "The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty." All right, and chestnut trees, fir trees, cedar trees, going to the other nations. It ain't no other nation like the nation of Israel, man. We are the Lord's people. But Ezekiel 31 verse 9 say, "I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches." So the all trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him. All right, and Israel are hated by all nations, man. They hate Israel as that chosen seed line, man. All right, but back in Genesis chapter 3, this is verse 3, it say, But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. All right. On verse 4, it say, And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. And this precept here backs up that Psalm 53 and 8 that I just grabbed earlier. But Genesis chapter 3 verse 5, it say, For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one's wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. See, she was tricked into falling for the words of the serpent by her being the weaker vessel compared to a man. Eve is easily supplanted, man, into doing what you want her to do. This is Ecclesiasticus 25 and 24. It say, Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. And this is what I just read, in Genesis 3 and 6. Eve sinned by following the philosophy and doctrine of the wicked, which the wicked is reincarnated into the so-called white man. And Eve and Esau still have that same covenant to this day. She do what the white man say. She don't do what Jake, say. You can be out in public, you can speak to Eve, she give you the stank face. But let Esau speak. Oh, she got a big smile and waving. She might even wave with both hands. But Esau give a woman all types of benefits. If she get rid of the man in the house, because the man is supposed to lead the woman with the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua with these scriptures. But Esau put the woman on a pedestal and tell the man to worship her. That's why it's a lot of simps created in the earth by Esau philosophies and doctrines, man. This is 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11. It say, Let the woman learn in silence without subjection. And, that's pertaining to her man. The man that dwell with the wisdom and knowledge of the Lord is supposed to teach and lead Eve in the right path. But Esau got our people messed up, man. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12, it say, But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, and then Eve. And the Most High put all things in their order righteously, man. Where the man is over the woman, and the son of Yahweh, and the son Yahushua over the man, and the Most High Yahweh over his son Yahushua. The man has to go to Yahushua to get to Yahweh, but the woman's supposed to go to her man in one of all things. Then her man's supposed to take it to Yahushua to take it to Yahweh. That's how it's supposed to work. But Eve thinks she can get to Yahushua, by going over our head. Nah, the Lord ain't dealing with women like that, man. But on verse 14, it say, And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. All right, and transgression is the breaking of the law of our God. That's why she was the beginning of sin. Because she was tricked by the serpent, man. From there, let's go to Titus chapter 2, verse 3. It say, The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given too much wine, all right, not given too much doctrine, all right, teachers of good things. And that, like I said, that wine goes into doctrine, man. Isaiah 29 and verse 9, it say, "Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink." You know, so that is a parable for a heathenistic doctrine, man. You know, they cry, they are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Meaning, they not going by things the way the Lord, have it set up to go. They doing their own thing. All right, but verse 4, it say, "They that may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God may be not blasphemed." And this is that perfect example of a true woman, man. All right, that what is that virtuous woman? It's a that's the true purpose of a woman. A woman don't supposed to be working and amongst other men. In today's terms, that what we call a housewife, man. They supposed to be keepers at home, man. They don't supposed to be out here working on their feet all day, up in men's face, men trying to get with them and stuff, trying to take them out to lunch and all this stuff, man. You know, supposed to be wearing, pants. Women supposed to be in dresses, man. They supposed to have their hair wrapped, man. You know, but Esau got everything turned upside down and inside out, man. But from there, let's go to Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 23. It say, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life." Right, man. It say, "To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids." Right, man. Hey, these days, these females love to wear these bat wings called eyelashes, man. And they put on tons of makeup and tight clothing, and all that, man. But probably can't keep the children under control, or can't cook and clean up, or lazy in bed. Just simple duties, of a real woman, But back to the topic. Um, in Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 1, it say, "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel." Right, read the whole Bible, digest it, keep it in remembrance, and go out and preach to our people all the abominations and sins that our nation commit against the Lord. All right. Um, Back in the Genesis chapter 3, verse 7. It's lucky I know I'm all over the place, back and forth. But Genesis chapter 3, verse 7, it say, "And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons." All right, meaning they applied the doctrines and philosophies of the tree in the midst of the garden. You know, Adam and Eve were not literally naked, as you see in this picture, but in 2 Corinthians 5:1, it say, "For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we having a building of God, and a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens." All right, that's talking about those mortal and immortal bodies, man. You know, a house not made with hands. All right, you see, "For in this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with her, slacking with our house, which is from heaven. If so be that being clothed, we shall not be found naked." Meaning applying these scriptures, okay? Isaiah 59:17, it say, "For he put on righteousness as a breastplate and a helmet of salvation upon his head. And he put on the garments of vengeance for clothing, and was clothed with zeal as a cloak." You see? Hey, knowing the word of the Lord clothes us and protect us, and feeds us from hunger, man. Verse 4 say, "For we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon that mortality might be swallowed up of life." All right, verse 5, it say, "Now he that hath wrought us for the same safe from the self same thing is God, who also hath given unto us the earnest of the Spirit. Therefore we are always confident, knowing that while we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord." And this is speaking about, knowing the truth, man. The real truth of these scriptures, like the scriptures say, pertaining to the other precept, Job 29:14, it say, "I put on righteousness, and it clothed me. My judgment was as a robe and a diadem." All right, they wasn't actually naked in the garden, man. All right. Back in Genesis chapter 3, this is verse 8, it say, "And they heard the voice of the Lord Yahweh power walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh power amongst the trees of the garden." Again, nations. All right, Adam and Eve hid amongst the nations, man. Because back then, everybody was around the same color back then, man. You ain't have no so-called white people back then, nobody blood showing through their skin, man. All right, no, you ain't have no red people back then. But from there, second Esdras 5:23, it says, "And said, O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee only one vine." That's that cluster of grapes, which is Israel, man. And Matthew 17:6, "Ye shall know them by their fruit. Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit." And a corrupt tree would be someone that's teaching wickedness and going, you know, about things the wrong way. All right. Verse 18, "A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit." Right, man. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Right. Because the wages of sin is death, man. You know. And pretty soon these trees are going to be burnt up, man, through these nuclear missiles, man. All right. Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 9, it say, "I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of the Most High envied him." Right. Proving people are likened as trees, I had brought that one out earlier. But I'm ending up on this one. Isaiah 29 and verse 13. It say, "Wherefore the Lord said, For as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men." Come. So if we were sold to our enemies, during slavery for bondmen and bondwomen, and we are yet this day in our captivity, therefore we are taught by our enemies to this day. So therefore I ask again, whoever said that the forbidden fruit was an apple? Hey, the enemy did. Esau, that was born speaking lies. You see? So, with that being said, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. To you, I want to say Shalom, Kwame Yasharala, and a Ball, DTA. Shalom.